So as this blockbuster fight is edging closer, Terence Crawford versus Saul Canelo Alvarez, many questions are being asked when it comes to this fight, and those questions will play a massive part on who wins this fight. But let's talk about this question: who has the better chin? Now, I don't think that's even questionable. Of course, Canelo has the better chin. But not only does Canelo have a better chin, but guys, I have a question, and you guys can let me know in the comments. Does Canelo actually have the greatest chin we have ever seen? I mean, when have we ever seen Canelo dropped? When have we ever seen Canelo out on his feet? When have we ever seen Canelo hurt? Just slightly. Never. Never. I mean, the only fight where we actually saw him get wobbled was his first fight in the United States of America. The man was, I believe, 19 years old. First fight in the States. Zero experience. The man looked like a baby. Even look at his body. But since that fight, when have we ever seen Canelo Alvarez not just dropped, but even hurt slightly? And let's talk about who Canelo has fought. I mean, he has fought some deadly punchers. Golovkin, 3 times. Callum Smith. I mean, if you actually look at Callum Smith's knockouts, not only does the man have one punch lights out KO power, but the man put people in comas and seizures. I mean, he fought this gentleman in Saudi Arabia. And not only did he knock him out, but the man had one of the scariest reactions and seizures that you will ever see. From a right hand left hook combination from Callum Smith. And the list goes on. Even Erislandy Lara has proved that he is a deadly puncher. Look at him now. He became the first man to ever drop and knock out Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia has one of the best chins ever. And Lara just knocked him out easy. Lara is a KO machine. But versus Canelo, he couldn't put a single dent in him. Miguel Cotto, who's an unbelievable puncher, never really troubled Canelo in the slightest. Dimitri Bivol, who has power in both hands, who has a powerful jab, landed countless headshots on Canelo. And Canelo was never fazed. Now, yes, it's boxing. Of course, anything can happen. But I have a question, ladies and gentlemen. Does Canelo have the best chin, not just in our era? I mean, without a doubt. We had 2 people being touted as the 2 best chins in our era. Canelo Alvarez and Gervonta Davis. But after Tank's last fight, getting hurt and wobbled all over the place by Lamont Roach, a 130-pounder, I don't think it's even debatable anymore for who has the best chin of this era. It is Canelo Alvarez, no questions. But can we actually go on to say that he has the best chin ever? I mean, I'm not a boxing historian. I've never been really the type to watch the boxing in black and white. But you guys, I'm sure, are way more knowledgeable than me when it comes to boxing history. But who has a better chin than Canelo Alvarez? I mean, I saw a stat that Sugar Ray Robinson has never been knocked out. But has he ever been dropped? I'm pretty sure that he's been dropped before. I mean, they say that even Terence Crawford has never been dropped before. But you can make the case that he was definitely dropped versus Mean Machine. And there's no shame in that. Just because you get dropped, that doesn't mean that you have a bad chin. Of course not. But for the simple fact that Canelo has fought nearly 70 fights, plus, with big punchers, even like Kovalev. Canelo, I have never ever seen the man troubled in his entire career, and especially since he became a grown man. I mean, when he was 19 years old, you can look at the man's body. The man looked like a 15-year-old when Canelo made his US debut. But as Canelo started to work on his defense and strength, But let me tell you this. Yes, Canelo's genetics are unbelievable, and that is why his chin is granite. But let me tell you why Canelo has never been dropped or hurt also. If you actually look at Canelo's stance and the way he absorbs power shots, Canelo is never ever off position or off balance to be hurt or caught with a massive shot that will affect him. If you actually look at Canelo, when he took that gigantic, enormous bomb from Danny Jacobs, or that deadly uppercut from Triple G in their second fight, why was Canelo not dropped or hurt in both situations? And both shots were some of the hardest shots I've ever seen Canelo take. Why? Because if you actually look at Canelo's stance when he absorbed those power shots, yes, he rolled with the shots, but his balance, his stance, he was never ever off balance. And you see that in a lot of the knockdowns, like for example when Crawford dropped Spence in the second round. Spence, yes, he did get dropped 100%, but his stance, he wasn't set in a perfect stance to absorb a power shot or a sharp shot. And that is what makes Canelo's chin one of the greatest, if not the greatest chin we have ever seen. I mean, they even asked him, who would you take, whose power would you have? And he named the fighter. Whose IQ would you have? He named the fighter. They asked him, whose chin would you have? He said, Canelo Alvarez, because he knows that his chin is granite. And not just that. There's also an interview with the Ring magazine where Canelo says, in the gym, he doesn't really work much on his offense in comparison to his defense. And when you actually look at Canelo's defense, Canelo doesn't have the craziest footwork. Canelo actually has slow feet. If you actually think about it, that's Canelo's biggest weakness. I mean, no fighter is perfect. And if you actually look at Canelo's weaknesses, it's mainly his lower body. I mean, his lower body is like tree trunks, you know. The man is unbelievably strong when you talk about his lower body. But his lower body is very slow. But does he really need to have exceptional footwork? Does he really need to have exceptional footwork? Because his upper body and his reaction time is so good and is so sharp that he never really relied and will never really rely on his footwork or his lower body movement in general. So I think we should start really asking this question on whether does Canelo actually have the best chin we have ever seen? Because in my humble opinion, and this is a disclaimer, I'm not a boxing historian. I've never really watched I've watched highlights of Robinson and Dempsey and all these icons. But I'm not too sure if I have seen anybody take a shot better than Canelo Alvarez. Let me know in the comments section, who do you think has the best chin in boxing history? Give me your top 5. And is Canelo in your top 5? And if he's not, then please let me know, who do you think has the best chin in the history of our beautiful and magnificent sport? And I believe this will play a massive part in the upcoming blockbuster showdown between Terence Crawford and the great Saul Canelo Alvarez.